challenges, from accessing critical raw materials to protecting and promoting the enormous wealth of its industrial capacity, to ending war in the continent, to decarbonating its energy, to extending the network of trade alliances around the world. They cannot be done without a strategic integration of all the strands of foreign economic policy. So this is the conversation today. How do we integrate all these strands? Where are the pluses? Where are the risks? And how can Europe project this power that it has? We haven't heard a lot about this power in this week in Davos, but this power is there. So this is what we will try to unpack in this session. My name is Arantxa González. I'm the Dean of the Paris School of International Affairs in Sciences Po. Let me begin the conversation with Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič. Maroš, you've been in this job for over 15 years. You are the longest serving European Commissioner. You've seen the ups and the downs. You are now at the heart of this projection of Europe's foreign economic capacities, weaving together trade, economic security.
Customs,
very important, the back office of international trade. So, Maroš, seen from where you are, what's the direction of travel from the European Union to expand its trade and investment power?
Of course, we go through quite complicated period in the world, and I think we heard a lot of criticism about the Europe over the last couple of days, but at the same time, we all know that there are many countries who would trade the place with us. So let's be not so downbeat about Europe. We are biggest trading bloc with the high social standards, with enormous power of our consumers, and with a huge potential in the skills and research and innovation. And of course, we are also a unique entity where 27 member states are working together. As you said, there are the moments where we are more up, where we are a little bit down. What I would say it's very important to tell our audience, I would say this morning, that the European leaders got the message. We need to be much more competitive. We need to cut the red tape. And of course, we need to focus much more attention to the, I would say, economies of the future, to the technologies of the future, if we want to be carbon neutral, if we want to remain, I would say, very important actor on the international global scene. And I have to say that in my new role of Trade and Economic Security Commissioner in the 1st of December, what I have seen is this, I would say, unparalleled increase of the interest of our partners in striking free trade agreements. There is clearly the momentum with our partners who sees in Europe partner who is transparent, predictable, who respects the rule of law, who respects the agreement, and who wants to work on the mutual advantageous positions. We are not the partner who wants to extract and export. We want to come, invest, build, create the value added on the spot, and share the results of our common work. So what has happened since we started in this new mandate? We managed to conclude difficult negotiations with our Mercosur partners, with Mexico, with the country we are currently in, Switzerland, and we are working very hard to advance negotiations with India, Malaysia. I just had the meeting with both trade ministers the last week, and I have, if you would see my diary here in Davos, so it's all GCC countries, many countries from Southeast Asia, and I see that this is kind of calling card. This is the visit business card of Europe, that there is huge interest in the biggest trading bloc, in what Europe represents in this very fragmented and tumultuous world, to be a solid partner. And I think that we, of course, have to take it into our advantage. So I think where we clearly need to do more, we have to focus our energy on being strong in the technologies of the future, how to make sure that we do not outsource the development, that we made them in Europe, that we will have critical raw materials which we need for them, that we will also have access to the critical technologies like the chips, because we learned the lessons, for example, from, I would say, this very unfortunate COVID period, where we realized that we probably outsourced too much of the strategic production abroad, and we've been really missing in the moment when the supply chains been not able to perform. And then, of course, we have to be very much focused how to fine-tune all our systems from the education through the research and innovation to be faster, not to have only startups, but the scale-ups, and we need to adjust our competition policy. And I think my new colleague, Teresa Rivera, is working just about that. And one point to close my introductory remarks, we are clearly now going through the period where I would say all traditional approaches to negotiations, to partnerships would be tested, and therefore I open every meeting with my colleagues, fellow ministers in the EU, and I end every single meeting with a clear call for European unity. When we are united, there is nothing we cannot do together, and we always arrive at best solutions if Europe is united. And that's the feeling what I get from all recent European Council. If you're talking about the future, strategic autonomy, strategic independence, and all these very important areas, that's the message we feel we're getting from the EU leaders, who are absolutely determined to increase competitiveness and the position of Europe in the world.
Thank you. So what we hear from you is a strategic interdependence in Europe means two things: unity and alliances with other countries centered around trade and investment. Let me move now to the Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia. Prime Minister, of course, Europe is more than the European Union, is wider, is made of countries that want to become members of the European Union, like is the case of Armenia, is made also of other countries that don't want to join the European Union, like Switzerland or Norway, but still want closer ties with the European Union, probably because they feel maybe outside is a bit cold. So you have recently tabled a bill to initiate the accession negotiations with the European Union. Tell us a little bit what this discussion means for a country like Armenia.
Yeah, thank you very much. In reality, there was an initiative by the civil society, and they presented a draft law on the starting of the process of accession of Armenia in the European Union. And our government endorsed that, and there is a very high probability that our parliament would adopt that law. That would mean legally that we start the process of getting more and more closer to European Union. Why we want to be closer to European Union? Because we are democracy. When you are democracy, you want to be closer or in mainstream of democracy, because otherwise it would be illogical. Now we work very closely with European Union, and to be honest, during last years, the tremendous changes and improvements happened in our relations with the European Union. For example, we just started the negotiations on visa liberalization agreement, which was in our agenda for long years, but we weren't able to start even the negotiations, and I hope that we will be able to end it and sign it as soon as possible. Now Armenia is included in the program of European Peace Facility, which is also very important. We have now a European monitoring mission, civilian mission in our country, which is also very important. We are in the process of implementation of comprehensive and enhanced partnership agreement with the European Union, and we are working very closely. As far as economic ties are concerned, of course, we want to be closer to European Union economically as well. But from the other side, we don't want we want to be closer in terms of economy in our regional countries as well. Because unfortunately, from beginning of our independence, we were kind of in economic isolation, because our borders with Turkey and Azerbaijan were and are closed, and so to make change not only in our region but globally in terms of overcoming these supply chain shocks, we put on the table our proposal of our project of Crossroads of Peace, which I hope is familiar to you, and it is about the making our regional transportation communication more effective, and to create new transport communications, not only with Azerbaijan, but with Turkey as well, to deepen our cooperation with Iran, with Georgia, and it is also about the European Union, because if when this project will be implemented, we will have new chain routes through Armenia for the European Union, and it isn't just matter of economy. It is also very important security factor, because you just mentioned interdependence as a very important factor for overall stability and security. But of course, this project will work in case or when we will be able to create sustainable peace with Azerbaijan, which unfortunately isn't the case now. We are working usually, and it is very important. Now we need to be able to establish diplomatic relations with Turkey, and we are working on this topic as well. Usually people are asking whether I'm optimistic or pessimistic on this matter. I should say that I'm not optimistic and nor pessimistic. I'm pragmatic. I just understand that we need to work until the task is solved. The main and I think most important thing, not to be derailed from peace agenda. We need to concentrate it on the goal and to continue to work without giving up, without being frustrated, and but in this case, in that way, of course, we need to have support of international community, and I hope that this support will be delivered.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I mean, you reminded me of what my former boss in the European Commission, Jacques Delors, used to say. You don't have to choose between being an optimist or a pessimist. You have to choose to be activist.
Yeah.
So what you've put on the table in this concept of strategic interdependence is the enlargement dimension, enlargement of the European Union, but also the security and stability of the wider region that to the east of Europe that matters a lot also for projecting Europe's power. Let me now move to Ilham Kadri. Ilham Kadri, you are the CEO of what is now known as Syensqo. People know the old name, Solvay. But you're also the president of the European chemicals industry. So I want to ask you, you've been at the heart of the efforts to look at what Europe needs to do to improve its competitiveness, the so-called Draghi report, the efforts at integrating more the European market, the Letta report. What do you need Europe to do now to improve the competitiveness of the European industry that is our powerhouse?
So first of all, well, thank you for having me. I must say I'm an optimist because since the beginning of Davos, competitiveness is back in the agenda. With Ms. President Ursula von der Leyen, Mr. Commissioner, there was not one meeting where people didn't talk about competitiveness. So that's number one. I think